reasons why, if I didn't cover any, that you will want to become an entrepreneur. In the meantime, I want to invite one of our business hatchery facilitators and coaches, Ashley Mitchell, to join me just for a quick conversation here. And he's also a serial entrepreneur, right? He has dabbled in a lot of different areas. And I want to hear from Ashley. Tell me, what do you think is like the main mindset of an entrepreneur to really take this thing till the end? And how do you deal with all those hard realities that comes with it, not just the, oh, I get to wake up when I want, but the other things?
Yeah, morning, Laura, and morning to everybody who's participating and the fellow panelists. Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Mindset is everything with respect to entrepreneurship. It's not just about starting a business or having technical skill or even having a great idea, but it's about that stick-to-itiveness, that commitment and dedication, even when things go wrong. I mean, 2020 has been one of those years where we have all of these black swan events and lots of things going wrong that would have affected people's lives and livelihoods, and of course businesses. But in the normal string of things, I mean, there are so many variables, so many things to contend with that it requires a certain level of gumption if you are an entrepreneur and you really want to see things through beyond the exciting, sexy, buzzy startup phase, because oftentimes you find entrepreneurs are very exhilarated by the whole idea of starting a business and even getting it started, which could be tough in and of itself, but then get kind of bored or really find it difficult to deal with the humdrum and the more nuts and bolts aspect of it. But I mean, that's entrepreneurship through and through, and you need to have, as I said, that sense of being able to go through and continue and stick things out to the end. Obviously, you need to be creative and nimble and agile to respond to changes. And even with yourself, in terms of understanding your own limitations, but also being very candid about your strengths and your competencies and capabilities and bringing all of those things to the table. Another thing is a learning perspective, being willing to be open-minded, but also to learn from almost every experience that you have. And that learning attitude and that learning mentality is going to serve you in good stead, because there are so many new things that you encounter, and even some of the normal, I suppose, things that you could have anticipated that would require you to utilize your whole repertoire of skills, not just, as I said, the technical stuff or academic stuff, but all other life skills that you want to bring to bear on the situation. So entrepreneurship deals with all of that. It deals with contending with Murphy's Law when, as I said, things go wrong, but also dealing when things go right, because you also need to be able to seize the opportunities and turn them into real success when the opportunities come by. Because sometimes people get something that falls in their lap and are not prepared and not able to really make the most of it. So it requires a whole kit of skills, a whole huge skill set that will enable you to be successful as an entrepreneur. I mean, we've walked that journey before, and some of you here, I'm sure, are existing entrepreneurs and can relate to what I'm saying, but a lot of it has to do with that sort of bloody-mindedness, I suppose you can sum it up as.
Yeah, and someone in the chat said it's a need for an extra source of income, and that most of us, we all, almost everyone now, we have to have a side hustle, we have to have a second income just to pay bills or to be able to afford certain things in terms of the lifestyle that we may want. And maybe that might not be enough in terms of the mindset. So Ashley, any thoughts as an entrepreneur yourself based on, okay, yes, you need an extra source of income, but you need to have that passion, or you need to, what else does the entrepreneur need in collaboration with that?
So absolutely. I mean, if you're doing a side hustle or moonlighting, as it's also called, you really need, obviously, to almost be sort of schizophrenic, right? Because you're running your own business, but you have a job that maybe a day job or whatever that requires your time and attention just as much. And to be able to do that, as well as get your work-life balance, because you have other things going on, you have other relationships outside of your job and outside of your business. And to juggle all of those things do take a lot of discipline. but also a lot of understanding on your part, but also on the part of the other people that are in your orbit, in your circle of influence, I suppose you could say. You know, your team members, even the people in your family and so on, because they need to understand your journey. And oftentimes entrepreneurs are wired slightly different from other people who may not quite automatically understand, you know, your behavior, your thinking, and so on. But it's up to you to, the onus is on you to try to get them to understand, but also to come on board. So you do need that discipline, as you said, but then it's also a lot of hard work. I mean, it's to be prepared to do the hard yards, because as you said at the beginning there, Laura, it's not the kind of pipe dream that some people have, you know, that you can sleep late, wake up late, and you start when you want, because the reality of entrepreneurship is far different from that. Yes, you might have flexibility, but often you find that you have less time at your disposal, right? So especially if, as I said, you're trying to you have a job, but you're trying to grow a business at the same time, and you might just have some tough decisions to make when you get to that inflection point where your business needs a lot of your attention, and you can't really continue to split yourself, as I said, as being kind of schizophrenic in that sense. So you might have some tough decisions to make too.
And not that alone. You don't only have one boss as when you have a day job. You have multiple bosses. Your customers are demanding. Your suppliers are demanding. Your family is demanding. So, you know, it's an all-round commitment that you have to be willing to and able to make, because it could take a toll on you. And we have someone else saying, you know, I want to become an entrepreneur because it seems that no one else is willing or able to solve the problems that they think need solving. And, you know, one of the things that we teach and we focus heavily on in our business hatchery program is properly and clearly defining the problem that customers have, you know, because when you develop a solution, who are you selling it to? Is it really addressing a pain point? And then we have someone else saying, looking to utilize skills from previous work life and looking for investment opportunities. So there are a lot of reasons why, you know, persons become entrepreneurs. Ashley, I'll call you back later on, but any parting words before we move on to the next part?
Yeah, I just want to say that even though, I mean, there's lots of aspects of entrepreneurship that are going to be tough and difficult. I mean, we don't want you to be daunted by that, right? It's one of those things that is also very fulfilling and can be rewarding financially and as well as in other ways, right? So you want to just be very open-minded when you're listening to this and participating in this session, and not think that, wow, but this is something that is just too much work. Yes, it's not necessarily for everyone, but at the same time, we just want you to apply the better balance there in understanding as Laura said, the good, bad, and the ugly of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, we have a very good point here. You know, my business post retrenchments, and I love what I do. So you do have to love what you do. You do have to believe in what you're doing, because if you're not confident in what you're selling or confident in what you're doing, that is going to translate into what the customer sees. And they are going to be very, you know, I wonder if that is a product for me. I wonder if I should take a risk here, right? And open-mindedness, you definitely, I mean, look at what happens with the pandemic. You had to be able to pivot quickly as an entrepreneur, right? So very good point, and I'm glad that that is what keeps you going. All right, thanks, Ashley. I wanna invite Nigel, one of our earliest presenters who participated in our business hatchery program. Nigel has over 20 years experience in the telecommunications industry. He has been involved in many facets of this rapidly developing industry. As an employee of TSTT, Mr. Jordan was responsible for the internet presence of the company's B-Mobile brand. While working on a craft project with his son Isaac, the idea of the business was born. Participation in Curie's Business Hatchery program helped to move the product from an idea made with homegrown garden ingredients to a business producing a market-ready product. In its short existence, the Twigs Naturals team is a small, mostly family unit that has won multiple international awards, led by Nigel. The focus is on consistent improvement and growth, while looking forward to the future. So you might have seen Nigel's products. It's Twigs Naturals. It's a tea and it's almost everywhere. It's a fantastic product. So
Morning,
Nigel, welcome. You
morning,
know, yes. So audience, as an entrepreneur for a while, tell us a little bit about what you think makes an entrepreneur a success.
um, firstly, patience, patience. I will admit that your Richard Bransons and your Elon Musks and whatnot, they lie. Um, yeah, they lie. It's not easy. There will be days you will wake up and be like, it's not making sense. Better find a work. That's if you're full time, and if you already have a job, you might be telling yourself, yeah, so again, a salary, does it really make sense pushing to get this extra hustle on the side? Is it really worth it? I've been on both sides of that experience, running the regulator for and doing the business stuff on the side. But I think first and foremost, having the patience and understanding to know when to push, when to stop, when to go harder, when to ease up a little bit. But patience is key. You have a goal and a vision for the long term. A real entrepreneur doesn't see the now. I think it's more a matter of building that legacy, building something to grow upon. Most of the bigger businesses that have some sort of legacy, like a Johnson and Johnson, and those would have been grown over decades, and that would have started with a seed, and over time you would have seen the progress. So that's number one. That patience, that stick to itiveness is, I think, is number two. And I think number three, what we always miss is that support system, because you cannot do it alone. Whether it is wife, girlfriend, auntie, mommy, cousins. In my case, the team is pretty much blood. I have a cousin as a director, daddy's a director as well. Um, that support unit whereby you're able to not just load shed but get ideas, but get feedback on your thoughts, and you also have the opportunity, at least within the career hatchery space. I can speak firsthand on this. Other hatchery alum, WhatsApp is important for us. We back and forth with each other. We think about this, we think about that kind of thing. So that supports. I think those three are your basic pillars, and everything else, at least in my opinion, falls into line from that.
So having a good network and support system is very important. Nigel, we have another question. What motivated you to keep going from where you were to where you are?
Sharon?
Because I mean, telecommunications to T is a big jump.
I'm a daddy, and is the kind of daddy. If you look to the side, yes, Molly somewhere on the side with her tablet. It's really about building the legacy. That's what I had in my mind. Um, my parents also worked TSTT. So for them, the building of the legacy would have been a little different. And the mindset in your 70s, 80s would have been get a good work, putting in place for your children and them, and hopefully they will come out good. All right, fine. But that would have then changed where the job market now becomes where you need to find a way to solve problems, and even you're no longer really seeing permanent jobs. It's more short-term contracts, sort of arrangements. And the desire to build some sort of legacy for my offspring, for my children, it was definitely at the back of my head. And what is even more motivating is the fact that the seed of the business really came from one of them. So it really was some sort of poetic spark to move into that direction and continue with something that literally one of them started.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Nigel. Patricia, yes, support is very imperative as an entrepreneur, and sticking to what you believe, because according to Nigel, if you really want to build a legacy or build something to pass on to your children, then you really have to be willing and able to put in the work. And that is one of the things you'd have to pass on to them as well, how much work that they might have to put in to the business, right? Not just, inheriting the profits or inheriting all of the benefits, but also what goes into achieving those benefits. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much, Nigel. I'd like to invite Tamika Allen. Tamika, you can. Yeah. Right.
Hi, morning.
Tamika is one of our most recent graduates. Tamika Allen is a hairdresser of 7 years, a certified cosmetologist, and is the owner of the hair salon Extra Length Boutique. Her passion and love for the beauty industry started at a young age, but her ambition was redirected to the path of academia. She graduated from the University of the West Indies with a BSc in Environmental and Natural Resource Management with minors in Communication Studies and International Relations. Upon completion of her degree, she soon entered the corporate world and finally decided to pursue a dream of becoming a hairdresser. After completing a short course in hairdressing, she began taking clients as a mobile hairdresser after work on the weekdays and on weekends. She eventually resigned from her corporate job and became a full-time mobile hairdresser, offering braiding and lock maintenance services. In 2015, she began operating out of her living room while still making house calls, and in 2017, she transitioned her business into a private home salon that caters exclusively to women. The salon now offers a wider range of services, which include natural hair care, hair treatments, braiding, and blowouts with an emphasis on hair care. Welcome, Tamika. So, Tamika, I want
Thank
to
you.
start by asking you, how was your work-life balance when you were in the corporate world and doing hairdressing? Because I mean, that's hours and hours. I mean, I don't like to go. So tell
Yeah,
me about
so
that experience for you.
it was, first of all, because I really, really, really loved hairdressing, I would at all hours be at people's home after work. And as you say, balance, it wasn't really a balance because honestly, certain things did suffer. Like I didn't get to go out with friends as often as I would have liked to. You know, on weekends, I want to like clients are booking, and I'm like, you know what, I really want to build my clientele because I really wanted to leave my job at that point in time. But I didn't just want to fire the people work and now be trying to get clients. So basically it was just hours and hours and hours of work. So sometimes I may finish at a client's home 11 o'clock at night, and I would still have to get up in the morning and go to work and do my regular job. So in those beginning stages, it was really hard, really, really, really difficult. And one of the things I would like to, emphasize is that as an entrepreneur, especially when you're starting out, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of sacrifice will have to go into building your business.
So, what would you say, or what would you consider the best parts of being an entrepreneur for you?
Um, I think Ashley would have touched on it a bit at the beginning, and it is the luxury of setting my own schedule. But again, that is a two-sided coin, right? So the good side of the coin is for me, the vision that I have for my salon is a space where a woman, as soon as you book your appointment, and let's say your appointment is 10 o'clock, you come in, you sit in the chair at 10, you get out, right? And while you're here, you're very relaxed, you get a little reprieve from your everyday life. And with me being able to set my schedule, especially with women who have like these hectic work schedules, it actually gives me the ability to serve them better. And a really great example of that was during the lockdown. Remember, salons had to close. So for that 2 month period, I was not working. And when we got the go ahead, I actually, that first 2 weeks after we reopened, I took no days off. I worked every day for 2 weeks to accommodate my clients, only because I was really appreciative of the fact that, they stuck it out with me, they was checking up on me and all of that. So I was able to flex my time to accommodate them. And one of the things that kept coming out of those appointments is, oh my God, Tamika, I'm so happy that, I was able to get this appointment because I finally feel like a real person. I finally feel like myself. And for me, that just reaffirms that I made the right decision. At the end of the day, it is worth it because I'm seeing my why being realized. So that's the best part for me, being able to use my time to really, really serve my clients.
Mm-hmm. And giving back and looking for that emotional connection with your clients and adding that value to them, making them feel like they are important and they're special is very important. And that kind of ties into a point that I'm seeing in the chat, and someone who wants to make a difference in terms of the carbon footprints in the world, encouraging persons to preserve the environment. So those kinds of social and emotional impacts, it also helps with your business and provides validation as an entrepreneur, right?
Yes,
yeah, and I mean, you are okay with, well, not okay, but you are dedicated to the time that you're putting into the business. You are able to set your own times, but not everyone might have that luxury of setting their own time based on the product or the service that they're offering.
True.
Yeah. So, all right. So thank you, Tamika. I wanna go on to somebody, a different type of product offering now, and I want to invite Tamara to put on her screen. So we did try to cover different industries with our entrepreneurs here today. Tamara, welcome. Tamara DePisa is a marketing professional and managing director of Delightful Productions Limited. DPL started with a soft launch in December 2015, while Tamara was a student in pursuit of the International Master of Strategic Marketing at the Arthur Lovejoy Graduate School of Business, but was officially incorporated. The company was officially incorporated in 2016. Her premier product line, Tammy's Delightful Concha Creme, comes in 8 delightful flavors to date. TDP has variations ranging from caramel kisses all day, better known as the ultimate customer favorite, butter toffee, to choco orange bliss, part of a new line of Trinitario cocoa-based flavors launched in October 2019. Sips, the simply irresistible party supply, DPL's other product line, is a range of rum cocktails that currently comes in 2 sorrel-based flavors. Tamara is now a full-time entrepreneur, using her time to build and push DPL, spread the light and positivity through her platforms, and help other small businesses with their marketing needs. Tamara, welcome. Tamara, I mean, it's Christmas time, so we had to have Concha Creme on this lineup, right? So how has being an entrepreneur changed the way you think?
Well, firstly, good morning, everybody. Firstly, I am always thinking, because now, before when I had the option to just focus on Delightful at a particular point in time, now Delightful is everything to me. So accountability has become a major part of it, where sometimes I'm thinking, oh gosh, you're always wondering, in the night you can't sleep because you're studying, oh gosh, I have to answer messages, I have to meet orders, I have to fulfill customers' needs, and everybody, as you know, everybody loves the Concha Creme, so everybody wants everything responded to immediately, right? So having that has been definitely a shift for me, right? Because whereas before, I had like when I started, I was actually doing school, I was working, and I was also doing the business. And somehow I felt like it was easier back then as compared to now, where now you would think I have more time to focus on it, but no, now it takes up the entire life, literally, right? So, I mean, through my page, a lot of people see I spread delights and everything is always happy and delightful and everything, but there is the back burner of it where, I'm always thinking, I'm always working, I'm always, So it has also, in terms of confidence, right? It has increased my confidence because now, I'm my own boss. I can't tell somebody else, well, you go and talk on this career thing for me this morning because I'm a coward, right? But now you have to just do it, right? And I'm definitely more passionate and definitely more motivated because I know the struggle, I know what I have been through, and I know I just like to help other people because I know the marketing background in me also helps that, right? So I help people through that. When a lot of people see my business, become inspired, and I'm always talking to people now, aside from Punchacam, but with regards to like just helping them build their business and encouraging them.
How did you know that you were ready to jump into your business full time?
Well, I was getting a feeling, right, honestly, for about a couple months, and I'd been feeling it. And where I was working, I liked the job, I love marketing, but for me, where I was just wasn't the right fit, right? But then honestly, they retrenched me. So then I was like, okay, I get the answer I'm looking for. Maybe I do have to focus on Delightful right now. And that's what I've been doing. So since last year, January 2019, I have been doing it full time. And well, yeah, Delightful has just become my life, so.
but throughout the conversation, we were really talking about having that balance, because that is important, so that as an entrepreneur you don't break down or fall apart.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have balance, but it's just that every time you're around, everybody always know this is Punchacam girl. Sometimes before I never used to post pictures of myself on the page, and now everybody know me as the Punchacam girl, so you just have to live with it, so.
With branding and marketing, persons want to see who's the face behind the business.
Yeah, exactly.
And that personal touch. Yeah. All right, so thank you so much. Our final panelist is Stephen Edwards. So Stephen, I'd like to invite you to thank you.
Hi.
Bio. Despite the old adage, this jack of all trades, Stephen Edwards, has proven to master many. Stephen is a theater and movie producer, director, writer, actor, and voiceover artist, and a social entrepreneur. He has received international recognition or awards in every sphere of his life, reaching from within the Caribbean to throughout the Commonwealth and beyond. His sundry of accolades is not what really makes him stand out. The trait that keeps him separate and apart is that he is often the first. This drive comes from a deep desire to place Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, the Caribbean, on the world map. He genuinely believes that Caribbean stories have never really been told the way they should. We have such a rich culture of storytelling, yet when we look into the world, it's as though we have no voice. Stephen's aim is to tell Trinidad's stories to the world, and whether they do that through theater, television, or talk, they must make the world stand up and notice. Stephen, welcome to our discussion today. Tell me a little bit about being first as an entrepreneur.
Well, all right. Thank you so much for having me, Laura. And I want to say a special good morning to everyone who is online, all 29 of you and my fellow panelists. Yeah, Laura, thanks so much for the invitation. And being first is very, very difficult. It's a very lonely road. But whereas most entrepreneurs will tell you, you have to be innovative or whatever the case might be, I would have to attribute everything to my purpose, because I live in my purpose, and because of that, I have often been led to do certain things that weren't really done before, right? So you find that, all right, I'll give you a simple example. For COVID, I didn't have to change the way that I do business. I've been doing business in my jockey shorts for years, you understand? Long before everybody worked from home. I was always a shower away. And I would be doing productions and so on, based upon a home-based business. Now, at the time, everybody else who had, companies and so on, they were renting big spots and they were, in big public spaces. And I was able to continue to do my business, and actually just ramp up what I do during the COVID time. Because again, for me, I'm a Christian, and that plays a big part in who I am. but I'm often led to do things. So I had an online platform for children entertainment long before anybody else. I had that about 2 years ago. So when it is everybody now has a tablet, yes, everybody have a tablet, and a man might say, well, all right, everybody looking for a tablet, let's look at selling tablets. That tablet needs to have information on it. So somebody has to sell content. And therefore, I always try to think outside of the box. So I would have created characters like Toko Tim, right? Who is a local, equivalent to Sesame Street, right? And so having those kinds of very, very innovative types of ideas have always allowed me to be first, I did a theater festival, and I remember everybody was saying I was crazy, when we did 5 days of 5 plays, right? It was one theater company. It was the first time that was done in Trinidad. When I first started, I started off because I used to have a church group before and use theater for it. But I started off really using theater and technology to really rehabilitate, children that were given trouble in schools. Come 5 years later down, there's nobody who could do that better than I in the Caribbean. I mean, I go to universities away and talk about it. But the thing about it is that it has always been tied up in what I was purposed to do. So that is what allows me to be first, to be honest.
Excellent. And, you raise a good point about innovating. And, as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to innovate and think on your feet quickly based on, unforeseen circumstances and so on. So what I'm hearing is that you didn't necessarily need to pivot during the pandemic, but you needed to be consistent in terms of what
I actually had to mash down more, and I had to now really go after it. So I ramped up production, where everybody else, from other parts of the world, production kind of stopped. I am actually now launching a children's online program, right? From the same characters from the theater for Toaster Teens. And we've been touring schools with these characters. So these characters have been tested in a live environment. They have been tested by persons of different backgrounds and that kind of stuff. So we know what stories work. We know what characters work. We know how audiences would respond. I'll give you a simple example. For the COVID, right? There are 2 projects that I worked on. One is I wanted to do a Trini Bible series, right? So I took the prodigal son and we did it in local parlance and everything, right? And we did it via everybody recorded on their phone and sent it in. I sent it to the song engineer and we mixed it. That, right, now is used by NALIS, you understand, in their prison program, and now that has created a huge relationship for me and NALIS to do other things, to have my content spread out now through 23 libraries all over the country, right? Another thing that I did was a free online course. And so I taught persons to act and so on. And now I've built a classroom that, this is the second tranche, and I no longer have to do the class live. Those classes are now recorded, they're in a classroom. But the biggest thing that it has done for me is that it expanded my reach in terms of, one, I'm now thinking a much more regional way. So most of the content now is more Caribbean. I have a large cadre of actors, over 40 persons now that I can now pull from, So I could stay here and do a production in Jamaica. I don't have to leave, whereas before I might have had to leave to do a production. No, I could direct from here, you understand? And so there are many things that, that you can do that sometimes you just click. You just click and you understand now, if I just expand the way that I think, right? Then as I expand, my business expands. Most people don't become, and I've learned this the hard way, most times it's not the best business that gets ahead. Most people can make a burger better than McDonald's, but nobody is as well known as McDonald's. And so many times we suffer as business persons, not because that we don't do a great job, but nobody knows who we are. And so when I did the free online course, it opened a whole lot of opportunities now, because all of a sudden people know who Steve Medwards is. Yeah. And I have persons now in Jamaica willing to work with me, in Barbados willing to work with me, Antigua willing to work with me, and that came, it wasn't the intention, but again, guidance is real important.
So you're definitely on a growth trajectory, yeah. And I know that you have you have worked with not just regional and local projects, but you have also exported the idea and the craft to the US, right? Yes. We have a question. Yeah, we have a question for you. In terms of, I've heard innovators aren't always paid until the idea catches on. What drives your constant desire to innovate?
Right. You see, an innovator is somebody who's creative, and I am a little different because I'm equally creative as I am executive, right? Which is sometimes a difficult thing to find. But you have to remember, when you have an idea, and it's just an idea, something on paper, but I remember the first time I ever saw Tokotim animated. I have been dreaming of Tokotim animation for years. And the first time I saw that animated, that blew my mind, right? And yes, the money doesn't come now. It doesn't. And you get to a point where the money doesn't matter, right? It's not that it's not important, but it doesn't matter. You reach to that point where, all right, if I don't make this now, I'm going to take this product and use it some sort of way. So for instance, I didn't get any money for the prodigal son, right? But what I got is a relationship and a network based on that my content now could be distributed. Now, if I have to get somebody to pay, the content is free, right? If I have to get somebody to pay for the content, now I could attract a sponsor saying, listen, I have my content in 23 libraries across the country, right? These are the amount of views that we expect. This is the amount of whatever. And now I can sell advertising space. So it's very, very important that even though you have to know what business you're really in. McDonald's is not into the burger business. They're into the real estate business. You understand? They own some of the most important real estate all over the world. The biggest toy sales, the biggest toy manufacturer is not Toys R Us. Toys R Us are out of business. It's McDonald's. And these people who give they sell those little toys because it's inside the package that they sell. So being able to see your dreams come true gives you more and more innovation, more and more spirit innovation, because I have had losses. I sell my car to do a show, right? And 36 people come for a whole weekend. I lose my car. And I would tell you, it was hard. It was hard. But come 5 years now, the same, if I had quit then, right, I would not have seen the benefits that I see now. And now I'm becoming more and more a household name. You understand? So the thing about it is that sometimes we see failure as like, oh God, this is the end of me. No, this is a lesson that you learn. Because for COVID, I had to let go people, right? And you know what I realized from COVID? I don't need to employ so much people. My cost could be much lower, right? If I just hire some person for a specific job. And that's something I would not have learned. I would have carried that big salary, right through, right? And I thought it was necessary. But COVID taught me that, hey, listen, as hard as it might be, if you shrink the way that you do things and you pace it out a different way, right? You could do work on demand, right? And there's so many tools now, not like long time. You could do so many things now because there's stuff that is available online and services that are available online. So yeah, let me do.
Thanks, Steve. But let me jump in here. I want to invite the rest of the panel, Tamara, Tamika, and Nigel, to to put their videos on and join the conversation. Nigel, you have won a lot of international awards, so you have quite a lot of experience in terms of exporting or even you know, growth experience and growth in the business. So if you have any suggestions for other entrepreneurs on how they too can break into other markets.
From the jump, and this would have been part of the learnings at the business archery program. Digital was always an important part of what the plan for Twix Naturals was. Once we identified the market segment, who we sell into, the next focus was to create some sort of digital footprint. And that opened the doors initially for us. So even though we may not have been selling en masse internationally, we would have been getting the trickling of orders via the website here and there. That kind of fast forward into COVID period, kind of like what Stephen was saying, there are things that you could have done beforehand that actually allow you to weather the storm during that COVID period. Right, so I think the first thing is understanding how to integrate your digital footprint, and then what was then allowed is a couple doors opened via us interacting with Export TT. We have a tangible product, and after winning the awards, we go on out to the international stage. People saying, "Yeah, man, the thing nice. All right, I want to sell." We didn't have the certification to enter into the markets. So in as much as it tastes good, there are statutory requirements, food, health and safety, labeling, other things that you generally don't think about. Your product good, yes, already, let me go. But do you have sanitary certification? In the case of the US, you're looking at FDA certification. In the case of Canada, it's Health Canada. In UK, it's HACCP. So the list, and every time you need to get something done is a food test, is that adds up your cost. So you're scratching your head, you're wondering, is making sense, boy? So the movement towards the international sale, we actually paused the pushing online for an international distributor for some time. It took us about 2 to 3 years to kind of dial back, work on the certification. We're now FDA food safety certified. We are HACCP certified as well. So the process really would have been getting those things in place. As I said, we got some assistance from Export TT, really training. So something as simple as the international trade terms. Now, granted, I in business a little while, in the regular corporate space for real years, and it's like I in an ABC class when people started to talk about international trade terms. It was disgustingly humbling. You hush them out, you take your notes.
And there's always something new that you would need. But it's good to hear that you're focused on quality and the service, and then you do have requirements when you go out there more than what we require in Trinidad. So you have you all of that you have to prepare yourself.
Yeah. And these are
yeah.
You don't know what you don't know. So only when you get into it, you start to realize, well, and especially like Stephen said, there are things that you had you're breaking that mold, you're blazing that trail in front of you. Who selling orange peel tea?
Exactly.
Who selling bay leaf tea? So it's not like I could generally turn and ask or look at somebody else. So we need to as well look at other businesses and learn from their case studies and their understanding and their experiences. May not necessarily be in our field per se, but they're definitely learnings you could pick up on. And those are some of the things that would have moved us. But the digital leg first, and I think I've been blessed to have that regular corporate experience in it. But definitely when time to hit the road, all those certifications, the actual statutory requirements, and eventually realize those are things that would unavoidably add to your costs. So you now start to see why it is certain things of a particular standard is a particular price.
Yeah. And I mean, you alluded to the networking and stuff. So I mean, the information that you have now based on that experience, you can always share with others who are looking to export so that they can be aware. Tamara, I want to jump to you because you did mention about your social media and people reaching out to you and stuff. Someone wants to know at what stage is it recommended to do the social media aspect of your business without it becoming overwhelming, as social media requires a certain amount of time and dedication. And we know that's true from marketing, right? So what do you have to say to that potential entrepreneur or existing?
Well, as much as I was in marketing, I didn't actually do social media till my second year because I wanted to build the platform. So I put pictures up and that kind of thing. And I wanted to make sure I knew what to say or how to answer these people before I just put it out there. It gets overwhelming, honestly, but what you could do is just like set a time to say, people message you all hours. And I mean, whether you have a time, 8 to 4 times slot or what, they still message you 1:30 in the morning. And you might be tempted to respond, but try to find a balance and say, no, I'm not going through this. I'll respond first thing in the morning. And just to give yourself some kind of sanity, right? To keep social media and your life separate and give you a little peace of mind sometimes. Marketing is very time consuming, right? And yeah, you just have to find a way to shut off sometimes. Yeah. Right. I mean, there will be time periods. So like everybody knows that from October to December, I am busy all the time, right? And I'm going to be responding because a lot of orders coming. This is my peak period. So you just have to balance it and figure out what works best for you and your business.
And do you all use any apps or anything to help you schedule posts or how?
Yeah, so I use automated responses, so that at least helps, give them a response until I could really get it. And so apps like even Canva, I learned this last week that Canva, you can actually schedule posts on Canva now and have it posted for you. So that works, you could share from Instagram to Facebook, right? And then you have the other apps that gives you the full integration, I could set it, and yeah, so that does help as well.
So it might not be full automation of the
no.
part of the system, but at least it helps.
Yeah, it helps. It definitely helps. Yeah.
Tamika, you get a lot of sales via your online platforms as well, correct?
And one thing that I wanted to say is, as much as sometimes you want to innovate, sometimes you're forced, well, not forced to, because I always wanted to have an online store selling my hair products and stuff, right? There were other things that I always wanted to do because, as Stephen and Nigel alluded to, and they said, you need to have like a digital footprint. And that was like glaringly obvious during the time I had to close, where I could not be face-to-face with my clients. And I didn't want to just go into hibernation for 2 months and then pop up when we could open and be like, hi guys, I'm here again, right? So I was forced to, it was something that I always wanted to do. I actually built the site and everything. I had everything there. So when COVID happened and I realized the road we were heading down, I was like, this is maybe the Lord pushing me into doing what I always wanted to do. So sometimes you may be faced, much like tomorrow, with situations where you are doubtful, you really have the idea, you really want to do it, but you are unsure, and you will always have that feeling of doubt, right? I don't want people to think that we all have it together. We do have any sort of doubt and we're real confident. Sometimes you have to do it even when you're doubtful, right? And sometimes you can get in your own way, but I went ahead, I launched the online store. Things have been going well. What I also did, I realized, is since people weren't able to come into the salon, they still needed to style their hair. They still had the Zoom meetings. They still had to work from home. Cameras still needed to be on for some people. So what I decided to do was do a virtual consultation, so I could kind of walk you through, hey, this is how you style your hair. This is the products you should use, and also I had a couple classes teaching people how to style their hair, because some people just don't know how to do it, right? But I did that just so that I was still able to touch base with my clients.
Yeah, so it's not just about the product or the service itself, but also the additional. Sorry about that.
No problem.
What happened there? It's also about the additional information that you could provide.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second, please.
Garlic tea does have that throat and thing.
Yeah.
Ginger, I think for that. I think for that.
Yes, Nigel, I think I need some orange peel tea or Tamara, some punch crab.
Punch crab, right?
All right. So at this juncture, thank you guys for joining us. You will come back again, but I want to invite Karen Suka. She is also a facilitator and coach in our business hatchery program. And she's going to tell you more about our business hatchery program. And this program, has helped our entrepreneurs to put the tools in place for growth, or at least to prepare them for the next step in their business. So Karen, welcome.
All right, so when I finish, I'll come back to all right. Citrine. Yeah? Where? On the window?
No, honestly, no one there. No, no, up, up. Down. Yeah, I was seeing it
What, outside or inside?
inside.
I don't know. Outside the tree?
I was seeing the spider.
No.
I just realized, was no one hearing me just now?
No,
Hello?
nobody's hearing. Sorry.
No.
Okay. No, I just realized that. Sorry, I'll start over. So good morning, everyone. And I am here to let you know a little bit about Curry's Business Hatchery Program. And as you can tell, all of our alumni this morning have been parts of this program. And I imagine some of you all are probably thinking, how can you become part of this program as well? Or maybe someone you know can become part of the program. So maybe you know someone or you yourself currently operating your own business, and it's a side hustle to you, but at the same time, you really want that business to become your sole source of income, or you're busy running your small business, but whenever it comes to meeting your expenses, even though you're busy and you think that you should be able to meet your expenses, you're having trouble at the end of the day, or maybe you're a one-man show and you are busy doing everything and you really need that help, and you know that if you were able to and you could get the time, you could really get this business up and running. So what can a business hatchery do for someone like you? Okay. Slideshow has stopped working. No. So if it is that you want to know how to get more customers or how to reach your customers better, or if you're wondering what price you can charge, not sure why that is happening, for your product or service, or if you want to know how to manage your business finances or how to pitch your business to get an investor or a customer, the Business Hatchery tries to get you to answer all of those kinds of questions during the program. And as I mentioned, it's a 3-month program. It's broken into 2 parts. There's the Smart Start, which is at the beginning, and then you have the Connect program. And in addition to the workshops, one of the really key value from this program is that you get one-on-one coaching where you have a coach sit with you individually and discuss your business and the future of your business. And you would have that throughout the period of the 3-month program. The Smart Start program really focuses on potential customers for your business and what strategies you can employ to make to get more customers and to keep your customers and to grow those customers. The Connect part of the program focuses on teaching you how to do cash flow projections and income statement projections for your business, how to price your product properly, what kind of innovations you can do or changes you can make to your current business model to make yourself more competitive. And it also teaches you on how to pitch for your business in terms of either to get an investor or to get a customer. We really strive to be flexible with our program, and we have a cohort that's starting in January next year. It's all virtual now, so you don't have to come in on a physical space. In addition to the workshops being virtual, you also get the recordings of all the workshops, so you can review it many times so that you get a really good understanding of the material being presented. Our coaching is on a weekly basis, but we work with you, the participants, and your schedule in terms of when you can receive your coaching. So there's no fixed date for that. So we really try to be flexible with you. And one of the new things we've introduced is that there are some of you that may not be able to wait until January to start with a cohort, and you may want to start now. So right now we are in the middle of a cohort, and some persons have approached us and we're saying, well, we'll do it with you on an individual basis. In the instance where you're doing that, you have even greater flexibility in terms of time because we'll be working with a person on a one-on-one basis. So that opportunity is something we've introduced to make it more flexible for our participants as well. And a lot of the benefits of the program is really comes from, we try to make everything very practical. We want that the tools that you are using are things that you can implement in your business right away. They don't require large expenses or resources. And when you're in a cohort, you're with like entrepreneurs. And if you recall, when Nigel was speaking, he talked a lot about the friendships he made during his time in the cohort, that he still works with those people up till today. So that network, they're sharing resources and know-how, that support is really helping you propel your business forward. We also have other support services. So after you finish your program, it doesn't end there. Once you become part of the Curry family, we always invite you back. Whenever we have events, we want our alumni to exhibit, and we always giving you opportunities in that regard. And there are other support services that Curry offers in terms of business development services, ICT, if you need a website built. And if you become part of the program, as the coaches talk to you, you will, if we recognize that there are other parts of Karuri that you could benefit from, we would definitely get you in touch with that, because we seek to really help to grow our alumni. Now, there is a cost to the program, and the total cost is $3,800. You don't have to pay it all at once. As I mentioned, the program is in 2 parts. So the first part, you can pay half, and then after 6 weeks, you pay the other half. And with our new introduction of where, if you want to do it on an individual basis, you could even pay per workshop. So as you pay, you do a workshop. We also offer the opportunity, if you have a partner that wants to come and join in the program with you, that person will pay $1,000, so that it wouldn't only be you if you're in the business reaping the benefits of the program, but maybe a partner as well. And I just want to emphasize to you that the tools and techniques that you learn in the hatchery, it really carries forward. You know, it's Christmas is coming up. Perhaps there's somebody you might consider you want to sponsor or help in some way. This is a gift that will continue to give as long as your entrepreneurship journey continues. So after you finish with the program and you want to expand your business, the same tools and techniques that you would have gained will still be applicable and will help you to continue to grow your business. Um, our team includes, well, you would have met Laura and Ashley earlier, myself, and the other person is Cleo. We've been doing this for 6 years now, and we've had over 180 entrepreneurs coming through the program. And well, you would have met Nigel earlier. We have Regina King of King Specialty. She's also a winner of international awards for her cream liqueurs. We have Warren LaPlatte. He produced a game called Santi Manite, and you can find that in a lot of the major bookstores. Um, we have Denise Nurse of Cavitation Cove. She does body sculpting services. So as you can see from these graduates and the ones you would have met earlier this morning, the program really helps all entrepreneurs. It doesn't, it's not specific to any group. If you recognize from the ones that spoke this morning, what they all have in common is a desire and commitment to grow their businesses and be willing to take chances and do things differently. So I would say that that is probably one of the main criteria, that when you come to a program like this, you really want to change and do things a little differently. Or call 299-0209, extension 2208, 2209, or 2212. We are going to launch a poll now. So if there's anybody who wants more information or wants to be contacted, please feel free to let us know and we will contact you. During our chat with you, we will identify whether or not this program makes sense for you, or if there are other programs that Career has that might be better suited. So thank you so much for listening, and I invite Laura to launch a poll.
All right, guys. So I want to encourage you to, give us some feedback to the poll. While you all are doing that, I want to ask the panelists to come back on tomorrow to meet us, Stephen, Nigel. Yes. In the meantime, I believe, so we have one of our listeners who I am Miss Campbell, I believe. She has requested to ask a question. So, Miss Campbell, you can do so now.
Actually, it's
Oh,
Mr.
Mr.
Campbell.
Oh, I am so sorry. My apologies.
No, it's okay. It's my sister's account, so that's why. So the name is correct. Just yeah. Anyway, hi. My name is Caduce Campbell actually, and I've been since I finished school and stuff like that. I've been starting up businesses. So I guess you could say I've been a serial entrepreneur. Even while I was in school, I've done a bit of things here and there. And I think one of the businesses that I've started that has been the one that I'm the most passionate about is a journalist business. So I started up a media company about 8 years ago, approximately. And it started off as a simple blog, just something I can write on and share my thoughts and stuff like that. And eventually it grew into what it is now, a media company. And over during that time, it's built up to the point where it's become accredited. I've been acknowledged as a member of the media. I get to travel with a media visa. I get to go all over the world and do a lot of business with a lot of companies throughout the world. But one of the things, the problems I've always had is doing business in Trinidad, because whenever it comes to try to do business with, like, to try to explain, okay, hey, I have this business that does that is a media business, and we sell advertisements and stuff like that. Trinidadian companies don't get it. At least the companies that I've spoken to, they don't get it. You speak to them, you tell them what you're doing, and they're just like, huh? Whereas internationally, they all get it because it works out there, and everyone just they lock onto it, and they're like, okay, great, I want to do business with you. The problem with international is, I think one of the panelists before mentioned something, is that there are a lot of loopholes to do business outside, because you have all these taxations and all these different licenses and all these different things you have to do before you can actually do certain amounts of business with companies internationally. I've managed to do some business with some companies internationally, which has been good, but I've always said, what, Trinidad is still home, because I, even during this whole COVID thing, like most of last year I spent outside of Trinidad, but COVID happened and I'm stuck in Trinidad right now. And so being stuck in Trinidad and not being able to, having my my customers and my business partners abroad and saying, hey, we need you to come to this, we need you to do this, and so forth, and I can't because of I'm stuck in Trinidad and Tobago. It's sort of a thing, like it feels like I've put my business on pause to some extent. I can still do some things, because there are some aspects of my business as an online media company where certain features just don't even work in Trinidad, because of region locking and so forth. And then VPNs are a bit, to a certain extent. I'm okay with VPNs to some extent, but not so much that I trust it for some of my thing. And so the question I'm really asking really is, to get to the point, is that how do you even break through in the local market? Because that's the one thing I've always struggled with. I've been fine internationally, but with a local market as a media company, getting other companies that would be interested in marketing with you. How do you do that in this space?
Stephen, that's your area, and I see you smiling. So
Um, I think to be honest, yes, Trinidad is a very, very slow market, bro. I'll be honest here. But the thing about it is that people, no matter where you are in the world, right? People believe in results.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, like one of the things that I do is that I work with the really depressed communities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how familiar or like how often you have traveled, but you know of the Beatum Gardens, right?
Yeah, I know Beatum. Yeah,
Good.
definitely.
So I could go into the Beatum Gardens anytime, any single time, any time of the day, in the middle of the night. The reason is that when I've worked with the persons with Beatum, right, a lot of them have gotten jobs. A lot of them have seen an improvement in life. So the thing about it is that if you have a product and you could show me as a business person that, hey, by me advertising with you, I can get a certain amount of results, people will buy.
Mm-hmm.
People will buy. At the end of the day, there are a lot of TikTokers right now making a lot of money because they have 50,000 views or whatever videos and so on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one is you have to show me that you could make the results and you could come at a price point where, um, it's not cheaper for me to get somebody to endorse my stuff on TikTok. So for
Right.
instance, let's say for instance, Nigel has tea to sell, right? And he gets a TikToker who might take $300 to do a video for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets 1,000 new boxes of tea, but you come in and I have to pay you 1,000 US, and I'm still not sure what I'm getting. Then I'll go in with the TikToker. At this point in time, it's like you could spend $300, for one day in the Express, and you can spend $300 for 3 weeks in the Newsday. And I have witnessed that for myself because another business I used to do before. I got very, very little result from the Newsday, but in that one day for the ad in the Express, I got results. So I think you have to show the person that you're addressing that, hey, what I am doing can bring results. If you could do that, then I think you will be getting more and more business in Trinidad and Tobago.
all right, thanks so much.
I add to that, but more so from
Yeah.
a tangible product perspective, a slightly different spin on it. In the case of Twigs Naturals, we recognize that the market for this type of product is relatively small. That's just the reality. So by virtue of that, you need to sit down and rationalize who your target market is. And if it just happens to be international, that's not a bad thing. That's chalk that up as one of your strengths, one of your potential exploits that you could really drill into and own. So it could very well be that based on your current situation, based on the type of content you're creating, you could literally be a voice of the Caribbean to the
Yeah.
rest of the world.
Yeah.
Own it. Some things they just don't try to fight it to turn it the other way, and then it may very well become a situation where Stephen is saying, because you're now a voice for this particular demographic, in that particular demographic as well, you are now of greater value to echo stories and interests of things from the from the region into the diaspora, and that
Yeah.
creates a whole new market for product advertising opportunities. So
Yeah.
somebody like me, 9 times out of 10, this is where I would put my money to advertise, because
Exactly, because as I expanded, not to cut you, Nigel, as I expanded, definitely, if you could get my stories out there, I'll definitely advertise with you.
so own it, own it.
Yeah,
Don't try to fight it
Right.
too much.
Well,
Sometimes, what is this? They said it is the path to the least resistance. That's just the direction of it. Work with it.
Yeah, and I wanna ask Tamara to jump in here because Tamara, you did penetrate in terms of some stores in the local market. How was that transition? How did that conversation happen? How were you able to do that?
Well, for me, I just went to the store, so I knew what I wanted. So I wanted to be in hotels and gourmet shops and that kind of thing. So I would just take the product, carry it, show them what it looks like, and they would go, just discuss it with them, and that's what worked for me. Also, because of how the product looks and that kind of thing, a lot of people reached out to me to get the product as well. So that's just kind of how.
Yeah, so it kind of echoes what Steve and Nigel and
Yeah.
Tamara saying in terms of get yourself out there, try to make the connections. You have to keep pounding the pavement. Obviously, you're gonna get a lot of no's in the process, but it's the not giving up. You get that that break,
Laura,
right?
what
Yeah.
I wanted to add conversely is sometimes you may actually have to try to tailor your whatever it is you're offering to the market, but in order to do that, you really need to do your market research because of the nature of your business. All right, so it may seem like you would try to bring what you already use out there and just copy and paste it here, but because of how different our culture is, how we are, you may need to go a slightly different route. Just like with KFC here, we know KFC here is very tasty, it's very spicy because of our local palate. But if it is you go to the States and you eat the same KFC, it's like this is not what you're accustomed to, right? So sometimes what you probably need to do is just try to see how you could tailor whatever it is you're offering to the local market, and market research, as I learned from the business hatchery, really does work, right? Asking the right questions, trying to see if there's any problems that we have here that you may not have thought of before, because again, it's two different markets you're dealing with, the Caribbean or local market and the foreign market. So just try to zero in on whatever problems we're experiencing here that maybe your media company could help solve.
So the listeners, do you guys have any more questions? Feel free to send it in the chat, so the question and answer. Patricia, I see your hand up. Is it that you have a question for any of our panelists? Or you took it up? All right, no problem. Great. So before we close off, Nigel, can you tell us what's next on the horizon for Twigs?
International, more and more and more. We signed within the last month. The focus originally for 2020 was supposed to have been the food and beverage sector locally, and that did not go according to plan, like with most things in 2020. but we were able to get into where the preferred tea of choice for Cinnabon, and Auntie Anne's are carrying the product as well, with increasing locations as they go along. So it's an incremental addition to the menu per location. But definitively, Port of Spain, you can grab and get Arima's. They have Auntie Anne's and Arima. So the focus is still the food and beverage hospitality space. One, two, international. As I said, more and more, we are signed with two distributors, one in the UK, one in California, and we're in discussion. Originally, it was supposed to have been Switzerland. However, because of the last couple of weeks spike in COVID cases and their disgusting lockdown, they're on another level in terms of infection rates and whatnot. So the leads we got in the hospitality space in Europe kind of put on pause. But we're seeing, based on the traffic on our website, a couple unusual places for tea. So really it's a matter of identifying where we can fit in the international spaces and growth as well there. We're in discussion with a local distributor as well, because there's only so much these pair of hands could do to getting the product individually out to customers. So we're on a drive to rapidly increase the output as well as product visibility and availability.
Excellent. Tamara, we have a question. Do you do market testing to add to your range of products, or what helps you decide what to add to your range?
Well, market testing. So when I did the market research with Kariri, one of the questions I asked her was about what flavors would you like to see in Panchagram, and my new flavor line last year actually came out of that. A lot of the flavors I brought out was from that. Yeah, I would think of a flavor and be like, oh, I want to try this, and then I'll test it. I did work, so it doesn't work, right? In terms of other products, that's actually one of the things I've been testing right now. So I am, friends and family have no choice but to taste and test and approve on my behalf, right? So yeah, I do want to expand beyond the drinks aspect of things, and yeah, so testing always, like, you have to do testing. I mean, as much as the product, I'm sure about the Panchagram now, I still want to test it and I have people taste it, and I wouldn't put anything out there until I know I did enough research on it so people like it, so yeah.
Right. So in terms of what's next on the horizon, I mean, this is Christmas time. I think everybody wants to know, we have a lot of Panchagram out there. What is next on the horizon for Delightful?
Well, I just kind of said some of it. So I really, no new flavors this year, at least not yet. I really wanted to, but that didn't work out. Yeah, I really want to expand beyond the Panchagram and the drinks, and hopefully, so I will reveal that hopefully early next year. You'll get a little more insight into that. I really want to work on partnerships. Partnerships have been going well for us, and a lot of people approach us, a lot of bakers want to use the Panchagram in their products and that kind of thing. And I really want to expand the team, because this one man, one woman show really, really has, taken a toll. So yeah, I need to hand over some things and, see what I could focus on in terms of business development and that kind of thing.
Yeah. All right, great. Tamika, mobile hairdressing, tell us what's going on with Extra Line.
So for me, as Tamara just said, one of the major things, and this was one of the main reasons why I joined the business hatcheries, because I was chief cook and bottle washer. So during that 2-week period where I was just going, even when somebody leaves here at 1, I still have to clean, I have to wash the towels, I have to, make sure everything is there. I still need to schedule posts. So really kind of getting like an assistant or somebody to help carry some of the load, because it's okay to do that when you're now starting, but as you grow and if you want to go further, you really need to bring more people onto the team. And one of the main things I would like to see for my business for 2021 is Extra Lengths Boutique returning to its roots. So we start back doing some mobile hairdressing, especially with how the pandemic is going. People may not feel comfortable, right, actually coming out of their house and interacting with people. So actually going to them to provide them with the service is something that I really want to get back to.
Yeah. And someone asked if you all do your postings, your social media postings for yourself. So just give me a thumbs up so they will know, yes, you do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, you do it all. And that is also a part of becoming an entrepreneur. You are the accountant, you are the marketer, you are the producer, you are the salesperson, you are the delivery person. Nigel, jump in
And
here.
the janitor.
You are the janitor.
It's Twigs Naturals, we've added a chat option on the website. So even if you're on Facebook, you can reach out a message. You're on Instagram, you can reach out a message. You're on the website, you can reach out a message. So it'll come straight to the same channels anyway. So no matter what, that's a low cost, excellent way to get your customers to talk to you.
Yeah, and somebody in the chat, they did mention some of the tools that you can use as an entrepreneur to help you schedule your posts and so on. You have Hootsuite, you have Buffer, you have Magisto, you have Prisma. So there are lots of things to help you spice up your communication. If it's Tamara would have mentioned earlier, Canva. Canva is simple, it's free, it's easy to use, and they are trying to integrate all the platforms, but at the end of the day, unless you are paying someone else to do it, and when you have to manage your cash flow, that might possibly be one of the things that you may cut or decide not to invest in. So you might do it yourself because you'll have to reinvest the funds elsewhere. All right, Stephen, yes, Facebook Business Suite as well as Twitter is also good options for scheduling posts. Excellent.
Someone's also asking about what's a simple approach to get persons to buy into the concept of sport entertainment, which is an interesting question. I mean, I think sport entertainment is not a new concept, at least not internationally. So just using that, just to point out and to, I suppose, let people, remind people of other types of sports entertainment that they would have seen on cable and even on local TV internationally. A lot of it is American based. Just to get people to understand that this is what is sport entertainment, so they mightn't be familiar, mightn't utilize the term, but get people to understand that without you trying to sort of build the concept from ground zero, because people look at WWE, for example, and a host of other types of sport entertainment that are international, and you can kind of leverage that to some extent. And just let people know that you're coming with something that's a local flavor, right? It's not necessarily a cut and paste or something that's a derivative of another type of sport entertainment, but the reality is that people are already familiar with the concept. And it so happens that now there is very little sport going on and very little entertainment that people can consume, at least live. So the time might be really opportune now. It might be a really good time now to try to launch a sport entertainment platform or product that people might be very willing to consume, because people are starving, for that kind of entertainment, I would say.
All right, thanks so much, Ashley. Stephen, quickly, what's next on the horizon for Stephen Edwards Production? Okay,
well, I'm going to build a Caribbean production company, sorry. So I'm in the midst of doing one place where people from all over the Caribbean could come and produce their work, animation, everything, the full works. Kind of similar to what Tyler Perry would have done in Atlanta. That's what I'm aiming at for the Caribbean. So persons, you want to come there and you want to do animators, you can get voiceover artists, everything Caribbean production wise. With also, basically my own channel. My own channel, yeah.
Excellent. Mr. Campbell, I got that right this time. I see a hand up. Quickly.
Oh, I didn't realize my hand was up. I guess I didn't lower it in the last question. No, I don't actually have a question anymore. I think I do, but I think I'll pass for now. But yeah.
Well, send us. You can reach out to us and we can have a one-on-one conversation afterwards. One of
Via the numbers that you guys had on the screen.
Yeah, we will put it back at the end.
Okay, cool.
All right. Yeah. I want to ask Ashley and Karen to just put your cameras on so we can, tell everybody bye. Thank you all so much for listening. Karen, you could just exit take it off the screen so we could just get a shot of everybody before you put it back up?
Oh, sure.
Thank you. Mhm. All right. Smile and say bye.
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 Thank you all for listening. We do appreciate it. Karen will put up the contact numbers now. And you know, if you all have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And you know, we could have a conversation. We could always guide you accordingly, right? So, and thank you very much, panel. You all were fantastic. You shared a lot of very good information today that would be helpful.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you for having us.
Yeah, you guys were great. Good seeing you again.
Rest of the audience, feel free, at least Twigs Naturals, you have a question to ask, whatever is the case, reach out. It's not a problem. It's not a problem.
Yeah. Same, you can ask me anything once I can answer.
And someone said, you all gave them encouragement. So yes, and it was a very truthful conversation. Yes, there are so many benefits to being an entrepreneur, but you have to be prepared for the flip side. All right.
Indeed.
So guys, contact us and have a good day.
I take care. God bless, guys.
Okay.
Cheers. Take care.